Damen und Herren am Gleis 3, bitte steigen Sie ein. Vorsicht an den Türen und bei der Abfahrt des Zuges.
Information zu ICE 2410 nach Hamburg, also nach über.
Hello and willkommen from Cologne's main station, Cologne Hbf. Possibly one of the longest intros we've ever recorded, but arriving in now is going to be a terminating National Express service. I'm assuming this one is terminating, but because the destination boards on the side are showing "Have a good day." As also arriving in is going to be the 1311 ICE service bound for Hamburg Altona. Formed one of the lovely ICE 4 units. Actually, I don't know whether these are lovely or not. A lot of German people dislike them. It's a long train. This one has come from Munich, München Hauptbahnhof. We'll stick to German name pronunciations in this video for consistency. Spotting it out is going to also be one of the S-Bahn services, an S19 service bound for Aal. That is literally the name of the place, Aal. This video is going to be in two parts. The first part is going to focus on all of the intercity and regional services that pass through the station on this hand side. But of course in part 2 we're not going to neglect all of the many S-Bahn services which connect Cologne and the Rhine-Ruhr region. I'm really excited to film here. This is an incredible station to film at with lots and lots of different operators, and it's just very busy. So let's get started here at Cologne main station, Köln Hauptbahnhof. As arriving in now, we have a RE1 service, I think that is. One of the Rhine-Ruhr Express services which operate around the region. As well as we have another ICE service arriving in as well. This RE1 is bound for Aachen. This one will have come from Hamm. one of the double-decker Stadler Kiss units. As arriving in is this ICE service. This is an ICE1 or an ICE2. I'm not too sure where this one is coming. Let's see if we can see on the sides. These are the original ICE sets. This is an ICE401. This one is bound for Ostbahnhof station in Berlin. This will be the 12:45 service, delayed by quite some considerable margin. It is arriving empty with no passengers on, so we'll be starting here. Oh, very cool trains. Almost 20 years old, those trains now, but they look brand new, don't they? They're kept in very good condition. As our IC4 bound for Hamburg has now put its headlights on. As arriving on this side of the station is going to be a National Express Talent, Bombardier Talent set, which is an RE7 service bound for Rheine. This one is starting here. This National Express, the same company that operate coach services in the United Kingdom, have quite a big presence here. Just like how Deutsche Bahn runs some services in the UK, National Express also runs some services in Germany. Okay, as getting ready to depart now is going to be the 1311, now slightly delayed, Deutsche Bahn service bound for Hamburg Altona. This is in the very north of Germany, having come from Munich and Bavaria in the southeast of Germany. This is almost going in a loop of Germany. Quite a few trains spotting there. We had an RB24 service bound for Köln Hbf, which would have come probably from Koblenz. We have an RE22 bound for Kahl arriving in now. This is the 1321 service and has come from Köln Hbf. As our ICE1 service is departing down south of the station. So down south, that's actually north, isn't it? So that is the northerly direction looking towards Belgium, and this is the easterly direction looking towards Düsseldorf and Munich and almost everywhere else in Germany. So this end of the station is considerably busier. Speaking of which, we have a Rhein-Sieg Express service operated by Deutsche Bahn with one of their talent sets. We saw one of the National Express talent sets about a minute ago. This is one of Deutsche Bahn's. This service is bound for Siegen Hauptbahnhof. I'm just trying to work out where this one has come from. This is the 1323 service and has come from Aachen. Oh, this is one of Deutsche Bahn's new toys. This is one of the IC3 Neo sets which entered service just in the past year or so. This, I believe, is on a service bound for Berliner Ostbahnhof. The latest addition to the Siemens Ferraro family. My mistake, this is bound for Munich. The line-up of talents. Making a hell of a racket is going to be the RE7 service bound for Heine departing. As it makes its way across the Hohenzollernbrücke, which is the bridge over the River Rhine, one of the longest rivers and most important rivers in Europe. As an S-Bahn service you may have seen arrived just on the left-hand side of the screen there as well. The IC3 Neo, which arrived just behind me, do apologise for the sunlight, is the 1328 service starting here bound for Munich. Let's go, off goes the Deutsche Bahn talent bound for Siegen Hauptbahnhof by Siegburg. This is going into sort of the valleys and the hills just east of Cologne. Yes, as mentioned before, this one has come from Aachen. If you're familiar with Train Sim World and the Köln to Aachen route, that would be one of the services you would drive between Köln and Aachen. One of the RE9 services on the the Rhine-Sea Express. I think there is a Rhine-Sea Express as well. There's lots of express services around here. There's maintenance people walking around and trying to fix things. Cologne is a city that I've been to once before. This was on a music tour with my old school, which was fun. I really did enjoy that. But the one thing I was a little bit disappointed about by that is I didn't really get an opportunity to travel on any of the trains around here or visit any of the stations. And this time is the first time I'm able to do that, and it's just such a brilliant station. Also completely ignoring the fact that right beside the station is one of Cologne's main tourist attractions and one of the tallest cathedrals in Europe, the Kölner Dom, or Cologne Cathedral as it's more commonly known, with its huge organ. I'm not sure if you can go up the spire of this anymore, but if you could go up the spire of that cathedral, imagine what kind of views you'd be having over the railway. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? As coming in now, we have one of these diesel sets on an RB38 service bound for Bedburg. The service has come from Köln Messedeutsch. In fact, we may have seen this exact train terminating at Köln Messedeutsch earlier. One of the Bauer 620 sets. Most rail services in Germany are electrified, but there are still a handful which are yet to be electrified, and that's one of them. Our IC3 Neo bound for München should be departing any moment now. That's the doors closing actually. shows our lovely IC3 Neo set. You may note that they sound very similar to the Eurostar sets when they're under the European power. That's because mechanically they are almost identical to the Eurostar Class 374s in operation between London, Brussels and Paris. As we have a terminating IC... which train type is this? This might be an IC4. Oh, I think it is an IC4. Carriage numbers on these trains are very confusing, you can't tell any really useful information from them. At least me as a person who's just walked into Germany, I can't tell any useful information from them. We have a simultaneous departure and we are completely going to get bowled unless this IC service is arriving in. Actually no, we have an RE5 operated by Rhine Express, operating service bound for Wesel. This one has come from Koblenz. As also departing out now, we have an RB25 service as an S-Bahn blocks our view completely. Bus bound for Marienstrasse, sounds like a bus stop. Marienheide. As our RE5 departs bound south of the station for Wesel. Wesel is north of Cologne, it's very close to the Dutch border. You may have also seen we have this IC4 set arriving in here, which is forming a later service bound for Berlin Ostbahnhof. This is what confused me when we saw that other service arriving in on a similar platform. Oh, this is an exciting one. Arriving in now we have a Eurostar service, which is running from Paris Gare du Nord to Essen. Oh, that was a bit unexpected. On indeed a Eurostar service running from Paris Gare du Nord to Essen via... where's it come via? That's come via Brussels. Operated with one of the ex-TGV TMST sets. These services used to be known as Thalys services, running from Brussels into Germany. But recently, just in the past year or so upon recording this video, Eurostar absorbed Thalys as part of their own brand, so all Thalys services are now rebranded as Eurostar services. What's coming in this is this set, which I thought was an S-Bahn service because it looked like an S-Bahn service, but it's actually not. It's an RB27 bound from Mönchengladbach. Using the same rolling stock as the S-Bahn services, but this is a regional service. As our IC4 service departs, bound for Berlin Ostbahnhof. This one will call it a few stations up to Hanover, from where it will run on the high-speed line all the way up to Berlin. I think it runs non-stop from Hanover to Berlin. As arriving now, we have another IC3 Neo service. Just come from the south of the station. I think this one is bound for Brussels. I'll just double check on the side of the train to make sure. If it's running on time, it will be from Brussels. It'll be going to Brussels, sorry. It is indeed bound for Brussels. And this one has come from Frankfurt. Again, on Trains in World, if you're driving between Köln and Aachen, you would be driving one of these very services if you drive an IC high-speed service. Not a busy train at all. Deutsche Bahn has been saying recently that a lot of their services have been running not to full capacity, and the reason for that being is that it's believed the German population's trust in the railway system is declining, because as some of you who are familiar with German railways may know, they are not the best known in the world for being on time. So a lot of passengers are trying other methods to travel to destinations around Germany and beyond. So the train isn't the most popular in Germany at the moment, which is a shame, because they're lovely trains. I really do like these trains. I genuinely do think they're good trains. They just not run very well. So arriving now, we have a National Express service terminating in. This is an RB48 service terminating in. Where this is from, this will be in the captions below, as I'm not entirely sure. I can only see departing services, not arriving services. This does not show up on Rail Planner. Also arriving in, here we have one of the double-deck ICE sets. We'll catch where this one is going in just a few moments when it departs. As immediately after I stop recording, we have an RB27 service running from Mönchengladbach to Koblenz. This one runs via Bonn-Beuel, which is on the eastern bank of the Rhine. As also coming in, we have an RB24 service bound for Kahl. This one will be from Köln Hbf. Crawling up the station very slowly is this RB38 service by Cologne Hbf. I'm not sure where this service is supposed to come from. As also arriving in, we have one of the double-deck ICE sets. Not ICE, one of the double-deck Deutsche Bahn Regio sets, which is coming in from Siegen. And we'll be running a service to Aachen. One of the Rhein-Sieg Express services, as you would have seen the previous Talent service, which was also on the RE9. It's got a lot of capacity. as a National Express arrives behind, there's a Type 146 locomotive on the rear. As just pulled up here is this RE1 service bound for Hamm. This one will be from Aachen. You don't get a great deal of locomotive hauled Deutsche Bahn sets here, do you? In places like Hamburg or Berlin you do get a lot of locomotive hauled sets, but not around here, not so much. This is one of the Baureihe 462 sets. I would really love to try one of these because they look like very good trains. Almost all regional trains in Germany are just very good, actually. I said I wouldn't show many of these S-Bahn trains, but these sets look like they've just been modernised. They're painted in slightly different livery and have colour LED destination displays on the side, which is exciting. Cologne is due to get a brand new fleet of S-Bahn sets, which may very well be in service by the time this video is out. If they are, let me know how they are down in the comments below. I'm not too sure why they're refurbishing them. Maybe they want to keep some of them. Ooh. This is one of the IC sets, not ICE, but IC sets. On a service bound for Norddeutsche Mola. I'm just trying to work out where it is. On board a Trax locomotive, a Baureihe 147 on the rear. Norddeutsche Mola is on the very, very northwestern corner of Germany, close to the Dutch border in the very north, west of Hamburg. As arriving behind me is going to be one of the IC4 sets. Also departing beside me is going to be our RE1 service bound for Hamm, which we saw arriving in. This one says, "Bitte nicht einsteigen, do not board." So I assume this one has come empty from the depot and will be forming a later service somewhere. It does not appear to have any passengers on board.
Platform 5 of the T, now arriving ICE 900, 1, 2, Frankfurt Central via Frankfurt am Main Flughafen Hauptbahnhof.
With an almighty tone, we have two trains. First of all, we have an IC3 service arriving in. These are some of my favourite trains. They make such a cool sound when they depart. But as also arriving in, we have a which one is this? RE8 service. This one will be going from Siegburg to Mönchengladbach. Not Siegburg, apologies, Troisdorf. As we have a National Express Talent departing. This is on an RB48 service bound for Wuppertal Oberbarmen. I am very, very excited to catch this IC3 train departing because... oh, it's Flixtrain. Flixtrain, it's a Vectron locomotive. Hauling a Flixtrain service. I was not expecting this at all because these are not shown on Rail Planner because they are not valid on an Interrail pass. This one will either be from Hamburg or Berlin. Flixtrain, the rail subsidiary of Flixbus, operate a handful of services around the German rail network. Their bright green trains. They're supposed to be a budget alternative to Deutsche Bahn. The disadvantage of being slightly slower than the ICE services. What does photoscape here at Cologne Hbf as our IC4 departs. We also have an OB25 service bound for Gummersbach departing out. This IC3, I believe, is on a very short service. It's on an IC service bound for Frankfurt, which stops at all stations en route. Frankfurt and Cologne are really not very far apart from each other, so this one doesn't go very far at all. Oh my gosh, guys, it's a Talbus. The musical train. I'm not sure what this is, because again, I wasn't expecting this at all. This is not a German train, I can tell you that much. Okay, as departing out now is going to be the 1359 IC service bound for Frankfurt am Main. Stopping at all intercity stations en route. Wow, I hope you enjoyed that. The racket of that RE6 departing at the same time was really not necessary. As you have another service bound for Frankfurt Main, which is delayed by about 10 minutes, which is an IC4, I believe. This one has not started here, this one has come from Hamburg Altona. Looks like our Talbus will be ready to depart any moment now. I thought this wasn't a German train, but it was. Oh, that's an interesting cab car at the rear. Well, I saw a thing on the side saying Köln Hbf, so this must be at least based in Germany. Ah, it appears to be a train rental company, TI Train Rental. It's a German railway company dedicated to the preservation of historic rail vehicles. So that might have been what that was. And they have also developed into a service provider for special, replacement and emergency services. So that's likely what that one would have been. As we have an RE6 bound for Minden arriving in now. This one would have come from Köln Airport. It's Cologne Airport. These trains are the fast services through to Düsseldorf and further north. Minden itself is actually about halfway between Cologne and Hamburg, so this one goes a long way. Which is embellished with some graffiti. Actually quite pretty graffiti as far as graffiti goes.
Über Köln Abfahrt 14:03 Uhr. Vorsicht bei der Einfahrt.
D2G departure 2:11 p.m. Caution, the train is arriving.
Okay, as that announcement's over, arriving in now is going to be the 1411 ICE 4 service bound for Hamburg Altona from Frankfurt. Quite racket as that one arrives in. As we have another terminating National Express service terminating in.
Abfahrt 14:21 Uhr von Gleis 2A bis C.
One of our talent sets. As also departing up behind me is an RE8 service bound for Troisdorf from Mönchengladbach. One of their 1440 sets. Wow, these are almost brand new trains, but they've already been graffitied. It's a little bit sad. Okay, as passing out is the now delayed by almost 15 minutes Deutsche Bahn service running from Hamburg Altona to Frankfurt am Main. First one stops next at Frankfurt Flughafen, Frankfurt Airport. Frankfurt Airport is actually the largest and busiest airport for Germany. You may think it's somewhere like Berlin, but no, it's Frankfurt, because Frankfurt is very much Germany's financial hub. If you get a flight from the US or the Far East over to Germany, then chances are you will land in Frankfurt. Not Cologne, not Berlin, not Hamburg, not Munich. Okay, maybe Munich, but most likely you will land in Frankfurt. And it's really good that these ICE services provide intercity services to almost every major city in the country from Frankfurt Airport. Not so long on those refurbished S-Bahn sets.
Einfahrt.
This one appears to have come to a stop just outside the station, which is not good because it will be blocking all of the major junctions coming out of the station. We have another of the IC sets, not the ICE sets, on a service arriving in. These do look like quite interesting trains. There's an RE7 service bound for Heinert arriving in, and also this service bound for, was it Hamburg Altona? The IC4 service will be pointing out very shortly. Powerful BR101 at the rear, that is bound for Gera Hauptbahnhof. I believe starting here.
Information zu ICE 315 nach Frankfurt am Main Hauptbahnhof über Frankfurt am Main Flughafen Fernbahnhof. Abfahrt 14:20 Uhr, heute circa 5 Minuten später.
Information on ICE 315 to Frankfurt Central via Frankfurt am Main Flughafen Fernbahnhof. Departure 2:20 p.m. Delay today by about 5 minutes.
Taking it very easily out of the station. There's an RB24 service bound for Köln Deutz also departs. IC train from where? I didn't catch that, but that's what this IC train you can see in the distance is arriving from. These trains do look very smart, I do like these. There are mixed opinions on these as well. If you are German, or you have been on these sets, do let me know what you think of these down in the comments below. This one is indeed terminating. It is on IC 2201. Oh, this one has come from Norddeutsche Mola, and it's just terminating in at Cologne. Arriving on time. With a Bombardier Trax 147 locomotive at the rear. As an RB1 service from Hamm arrives in on a service bound for Aachen. And I think that's just about going to conclude part 1 of spotting here at Cologne. I've got no idea how long the video is, it's probably quite long. But from here we're going to move on to the S-Bahn services departing out. Just like one of these. Just like one of these. So if you'd like to see some S-Bahn services and see where all these services are going from the eastern end of the station, then do follow on for part 2, which will be linked in the end screen coming up very shortly. So if you have enjoyed what you've seen here at Köln Hbf, Cologne main station, then do leave a like down below and do consider subscribing if you do enjoy my content for some reason. I have a whole playlist of videos from Germany, and also I do a lot of content from Scandinavia if you're interested in that. I've been filming that over the summer as well, so do check that out if you're interested. But until next time, auf Wiedersehen, and goodbye from Köln Hbf as this ICE 1 or ICE 2 service arrives in. We've been filming for almost 6 minutes straight now.